Hello and welcome to The Rest is Football with Alan Shearer, Micah Richards and me, Gary Lineker. It's the business end of the season where every game and every point seems to matter that little bit more. There's lots to get through today. It looks like the title race is going right down to the wire. There was a decisive day in the relegation battle and the final day in the Championship saw drama at both ends of the table. Before we get onto all that though, we're recording this on Sunday evening and we've just seen a cracking game at Anfield that looked like being a humiliating result at one point, didn't it, for Tottenham? But they kind of came back a little bit in the end. But they've certainly lost their way a little bit. And Liverpool, a kind of welcome return to form, albeit probably a bit too late.
I said to someone before the game, it's an absolute nap that Mo Salah is going to be back to his best today and is going to score and is going to look as sharp as ever, and he did. I know they come back into it a little bit, Tottenham, but too little, too late. They've been awful, haven't they? Defensively, I know they've had injury problems, but everyone has. But they're an absolute mess at the back, aren't they? I mean, they're conceding goals for fun, and as soon as they lose the ball, it's like they're so easy to play through and play against.
Do you think teams have worked them out?
Their injuries haven't helped. I get that. But as I keep saying, everyone's had injuries. I don't think they're just not good enough. They need new players in for the way the manager wants to play. They need another 3, 4, 5 players at least to try and get to where they want to be in terms of Champions League football.
Do you think that many? What positions?
I think they need a centre forward. I think they've got Johnson, Richarlison, Son, Kulusevski. I understand all that, but I do think they need a centre forward in. There's no doubt, and I also think they need a bit of quality in midfield. They've got legs in midfield, but they definitely need quality in midfield. With injuries that they've had, fullbacks could be an issue as well. And I think they do. I think I wouldn't take that back. I think they need 4 or 5 players for them to challenge to get into the Champions League.
I know they've had a bad spell lately, but overall in the season, they're better than where they were last season, and they're certainly better to watch. They are entertaining, at least, Micah.
Yeah, they are entertaining. I think when you look at squads, I think Spurs have done brilliantly this season. They just look like they've run out of steam, and Alan's exactly right in terms of how they want to play. They need more players, and not necessarily massive, better quality. I think it's just to keep the intensity in the game in which he wants to play. It's not helped Udogie being out as well. I think Davies coming to the team, he gets injured last game, and then Emerson Royale, he had a nightmare. He had a nightmare this evening, and I've been there myself, where no matter what you do, things are not coming or going your way. I think it's always hard as well for a right footer to defend on the left-hand side, because just your body shapes, everything's completely different. And because he's a more offensive player, he really got caught out defensively as well. But as a whole, I think Spurs have been very entertaining. But when you keep conceding of crosses or set pieces or people having too much space, then you've got to say, for all they've done good and we've praised them for, they still need to improve on the defending stuff, because like Alan said, it's not good enough.
While we're on the subject of Spurs, do you still think they're a better side without Harry Kane, Micah?
Okay, let me spin the question to you, Gary. Where did Spurs finish last season?
About 8th, wasn't it?
So if they finish better than 8th this season, that will mean it's been great for Harry Kane, top scorer in the Bundesliga, and it's been great for Spurs because they're no worse off.
Yeah, but you don't know whether they might have even gone on to win the league if Harry Kane had been.
Oh, well, we don't know that, is it? What did Gino De Campo said? If my nan had wheels, she'd be a bicycle. It's a ridiculous thing to say, Gary.
Well, you were the one that was saying it all season.
Well, basically, I'm just saying they performed better at times without Harry Kane because they could play with pace. And they're no better off.
What about Liverpool? It's kind of run out with a bit of a damp squib the end of the season, hasn't it, for them? But that was a welcome victory. They're still going to finish, almost certainly third, I would say, which is, it's never a bad season, that's for sure.
Well, and they've got the Carabao Cup, haven't they? I mean, since that win, it hasn't quite happened for them. In fact, it's been really disappointing, the results that they've had. I was really pleased that they put in a good performance today, just because I don't think Klopp deserves to go out in the manner of the last 4 or 5 weeks. I think he deserves to go out with 3 victories. That's 1 today, because of what he's achieved and what he's done for Liverpool Football Club. So it didn't surprise me they put in a lot better performance today, particularly Mo Salah.
Yeah, he was terrific. Some excellent performances, and what a goal from Harvey Elliott!
Oh, what a goal! What a! He looks really comfortable, doesn't he? He's a real talent, isn't he?
He is. He's brilliant. And what I like about him now, he can play midfield. Also, we all know he can play midfield, but he's not just okay because Salah's playing on the right and he wants to come on his left foot. He can play in a variety of different positions, and every time he plays, he really shows me that he's good enough for this level now. It really is, and as long as he can get some consistency, I think we've got another top player on our hands.
Let's talk about the 2 teams above them who played obviously on Saturday, which we showed those games on Match of the Day, and neither of you two were there, but I'm sure you watched them, and I don't know, I kind of sense that both teams are going to win all their games, but you never know. You never know, do you? One little off day, one little twist, one bad decision, one bit of bad luck, and it can turn things round. City are doing what City do, aren't they? And that's kind of pretty much winning every single game towards the end of the season.
I think in both games, both Arsenal and City, there was never any point in either of those games that I thought anything other than victories for both Arsenal and City. And they were both pretty comfortable, I thought. I mean, a couple of decisions you can talk about, particularly in the Arsenal game, but I still they battered them. I mean, it was just a matter of time before they got that goal, because they created so many chances, didn't they? But both teams impressive when you're under huge pressure, as both teams are, and they were really good, both of them. Yeah,
and both got a little bit lucky with decisions. Probably, I know they probably would have won easily anyway. But the Manchester City first penalty was. I know you kind of wavered a little bit. I was watching you on telly, Micah.
I wavered a little bit.
You were going, oh, I'm not sure, maybe, but you're a Manchester City ambassador. I understand that.
Oh my God!
I understand that, and obviously the Arsenal one was a bit of a cock up, but I don't think they probably influenced results.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, the Man City one. It was 8-0 on Guardiola. But I don't, whether we think it's like a penalty or not, like what is he doing to start with? Like, he's not basically giving the referee and the VAR. If you slow that down, it looks like a penalty every time. I agree in normal pace. I just thought, he got there a little bit late, but play on. But when it's slowed down like that and the views that the referee's giving, if it was given, you'd say, okay. If it's not given, I think it was 50-50.
I thought just the 2 players just came together, both trying to clear the ball, and Guardiola followed through and clattered him. But, I mean, did you watch Match of the Day, Micah?
I did. Righty called it one of the worst decisions
he's ever seen. I think he was slightly exaggerating, I have to say, but...
Yeah. Dude, you thought it was a pen, didn't you, Alan? Because you said that in a group.
I thought, the defender... I know it was a coming together, but the defender, as far as I saw, he didn't touch the ball, and he's wiped him out. So I was sort of like you. I was 50-50, whatever way it went. I think there's an argument for it. So
the fact we slightly disagree on it suggests that VAR shouldn't intervene. So
Agreed.
Whatever, you just go with it on the
Correct.
pitch. The Arsenal thing was like 2 or 3 dodgy decisions within the space of a few seconds.
When you say dodgy, what do you mean by dodgy? I mean, you talking about the Havertz one first?
No, I thought that was a penalty. I mean, if you look at that in normal speed, you can just see that the keeper comes out rashly, misses the ball completely. why should a centre forward leap out the way of him?
The keeper's stupid enough to come out like that. Then you're inviting contact. The forward doesn't have to jump over him. Gary's absolutely right. Why should he have to jump over him? He can leave his foot there and make contact. So I thought it was a stupid challenge from the goalkeeper. The other one where the goal was disallowed, I thought was a really poor decision.
I mean, even if they did disallow the goal, it was probably a penalty, wasn't it?
Yeah, he did. He was yanking him. He was pulling him, wasn't
because he completely pulled his arm back, didn't he? So, but I don't think it would have made any difference to the results in either game. Return to form, of course, for Erling Haaland, as predicted on this podcast by all of us, really. And he was getting stick, wasn't he? Not quite the same. He's not the same player, and all that kind of nonsense that we've experienced many times during our careers, Alan. But you just know with him, He's hunger for goals as well, and I don't know about you, but the bit at the end when he was taken off, he was absolutely fuming.
I loved it. Why shouldn't he be fuming? So he should be fuming. I would be fuming. I'd be absolutely raging. You're on 4 goals, and you've got 10 or 15 minutes left, and he takes you. No, I would be exactly the same as him. He's on a high. He's flying. He hasn't scored goals for a while. He's had criticism, and he's got 4. He's back in the groove. Yeah, why? I would be exactly the same.
You didn't need to be a brilliant lip reader to see what he was saying, did you? One bit was gone, fucking incredible.
Yeah, I think I might have said a bit more myself, actually. I loved it. I thought, I've got no issue or problem with that at all. I get how he feels. I understand why the manager wants to do it, and I understand that the manager would have had a word with him in the changing room, and there'll be no issue whatsoever between the two of them. But I liked his reaction.
Is there a difference between that and what happened with Salah and Klopp?
I think so, yeah. There is a little bit of a difference, yeah, because he's not on the pitch. He hasn't been playing well, albeit still got a lot of goals by anyone else's standards, more Salah. There's a slight difference, yeah.
I love his hunger, though, to scoring goals, because we can relate to that. You know what it's like. You've got that absolute kind of drive and desire to keep scoring. And I mean, we were lucky. We played in an era where substitutions didn't really happen that often, but it would have done your head in, wouldn't it?
No, I wouldn't.
You've given the hook after you've scored 4
I know,
goals.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But now it's all about rotation and rest and all this kind of stuff, isn't it, Micah?
Here we go. We're going to do that at the end of the season anyway, because I've got some stats coming to me that back up my point perfectly in terms of
Which point?
How high intense the Premier League is now. Anyway,
okay.
But anyway, can we talk about Rodrigo?
We'll get those points verified, by the way. We're not just leaving them to you to read us about. Can we talk about who? Rodri, Rice or Rodri?
Oh, look at this.
Rice or Rodri. We were having this debate a little bit on our group chat yesterday, and Micah's very much Rodri, and you were saying by a million miles. Micah,
look at wow!
Do you want me to get it up? Do you want the evidence?
You put my personal life on national, are we?
Personal life?
No, okay. Rice is incredible. What makes him so good? He's a great character. He's a lovely person. Excellent footballer. If he's stepping into the 8 when Partey's playing or Jorginho, incredible. Yes. But the argument was in the number 6 role. Rodri doesn't play number 8. We're talking about number 6.
You've already slightly kind of tilted the debate that we had towards.
Yeah, but Rodri's not an 8, so it's not a fair comparison, is it?
Yeah, no, that's fine. So Rice is
can play both.
Kind of more flexible. He's more flexible.
Well, Rodri's still got 7 goals, 9 assists, if you want to throw that there. As a defensive midfielder, I just thought I'd get...
So he can play that way then?
Well, no, I mean, he does it from a deeper role as well. That's what I'm saying.
When you say a deeper role, City do tend to play the whole game in the opposition's final third.
But look at Rodri and the impact he has within a team. When he doesn't play, Man City don't look the same. They lose games. He come back. He's not lost for about 70 games for club and country. It's remarkable what he's doing, dictating it, short passes, long passes, goals, assists. He's the best defensive midfielder in the world by far, I think.
There you go, by a million miles. You just said it.
Well, a million miles and far. Far could be a far jump.
A million miles is quite far.
A million miles could be space, could it, Gary?
Well, it would be, I think, yeah. They're different kind of player. They've got. I mean, Rodri's he's world class. Wonderful, wonderful football. There's no doubt about that.
So is Declan.
Rice has impressed me in his first season at Arsenal to do what he's done, and he's just taken to it so easily. And what I really like about him is when he runs with the ball and he just like goes between and breaks the lines that way. He's fantastic running on the ball, and he's kicked in with way more assists and goals this season as well, hasn't he? Particularly, I suppose, in recent weeks when he has played that more advanced a role, that 8 rather than a 6.
He's been very, very reliable. You're running with the ball and running without the ball, I think, is a big part. You saw his goal where he actually came from to actually get on the end of it, and then time was running the finish. So, I mean, they're both very, very good players. Yeah. So we'll leave the argument to the public to decide.
We could leave it with the football writers. I think they had Rice in second in the Football Writers Player of the Year award. Foden won it, obviously, and then Rodri was third. But I would have definitely had. I think I would have had the same top 3 probably.
Me too.
The impact that Rice has made, definitely. But I don't know why Cole Palmer's not in there. If I'm being totally honest, it's absolutely staggering what he's done this year. But yeah, I mean, it's all horses for courses, isn't it?
Do you think both teams are going to win all their games? I suppose the games are fairly similar, aren't they? Arsenal have got to go to Manchester United, but Manchester City have got to go to Tottenham. But we know, Tottenham have not been in great form, as we talked about earlier on. But can you imagine if Tottenham win the title for Arsenal by beating Manchester City? I wonder how they'll approach that. I mean, players are always, you can't go out and not try or anything like that. But I wonder what the Tottenham fans think. I spoke to a couple yesterday, and both of them said, no, we can't. We can't help Arsenal to win the league.
No, but it's you can't. I mean, you're talking about the integrity of players, aren't you? And I know at the elite level, if you're 0.1% off it, then it makes a difference. But we had that scenario, Gary. If you remember, we were Blackburn when we had to go to Anfield last day of the season, and it was either us winning the title or Man United.
And it was Kenny Dalglish,
manager of Blackburn,
and Man United
going to Anfield. So you're thinking Liverpool are going to do us a right favor, and it was such a weird atmosphere because the fans were aware of it. They didn't want Man United to win at West Ham, which meant they would have had a chance of winning the title. So it was really weird, and in the end, I mean, everyone was happy other than Man United because Liverpool won, we won the title. But it's you can't ever question, I don't think, the players' integrity to go out and do as well as they can. But if you're that much off it, then at the highest level, it does make a difference.
Subconsciously, possibly, but there's no. I mean, players. I mean, we've all played for years and years and years. I can never ever remember any kind of conversation, any kind of thing before any match where you go, not sure I want to win today.
No.
Do you think we're going to see, it's going to go, could be another Aguero moment? Not with Aguero, obviously, because he's not around.
Yeah. If Spurs were playing Man City 3 weeks ago, I think the Man City fans would have been a little bit more nervous, but Spurs giving up too much goals. If they try to play that high line against Man City, they're going to absolutely batter them. They're going to have to change a little something.
They've struggled at Tottenham in recent years, but with a totally different kind of Tottenham, though. Like Tottenham with a real low block and Conte and Mourinho football.
They won in the FA Cup this year, though, didn't they? Or this season, I should say. Did they?
Yeah.
So it's going to be an interesting game. It's going to be interesting, but I just think Man City have got too much. I think both Man City and Arsenal will probably win all the games, even though we want to see a little bit more jeopardy, probably.
Disastrous result for Burnley against your mob, Al.
I mean, Burnley again. I mean, Newcastle were brilliant. I mean, Burnley did all right for the first 10 minutes or so, didn't they? But then, I mean, just same old story, isn't it? They were really poor defensively, far too open on the turnover of play. Trying to pull out from the back again. Jesus, sound like a broken record with Burnley, and it's time and time again this season. Newcastle battered them. Could have been a few more, maybe should have. Obviously missed a penalty, but yeah, Burnley were really, really poor.
I think, I mean, Tony, we've mentioned him many times. Burnley fan, my business partner with Goalhanger. He'd been down in the dumps all season, but he got that little bit of hope, and it's always that, isn't it, that kills you? Because they'd had that good run, one defeat in the last 8 games, wasn't it? And he went up there with his 3 boys and had a miserable afternoon, and then they cancelled his train on the way out as well, I think. So.
Me. I mean, I was sending, and I felt really guilty because I was sending a few texts to take the piss, wasn't I? And in the end, I felt
you always do, Alan. I always think to myself, "Oh, it's a bit cruel."
And then I felt really guilty when he said I brought my kids and we set off early, and then the train's cancelled on the way home, and I thought, "Oh my God, I've got to be nice here. I've got to send a nice text message."
You're getting soft in your old age.
I was thinking, yeah, absolutely right. It is the hope that kills you. Football is horrible sometimes, isn't it?
It is. They're going to struggle now, I think. I mean, I think the Premier League might breathe a sigh of relief if Forest are safe before this points deduction appeal and all that kind of stuff. Might take the heat off them a little bit, I think, given those circumstances down at the bottom. But it's looking like, most likely, isn't it, that the 3 that got promoted will go back down.
Yeah, it is. I'm gutted for Kompany, I really am. I think he showed at times this season what he can do. I think Al was probably right earlier on in the season where, we're still, 3 games left, and we're talking about making the same mistakes. Obviously, that comes with a younger team. You make the mistakes, but yeah, I think a little naivety in the end has sent them down, and yeah, hopefully they can bounce back. But I think that looks like it's the end for them.
Yeah. Has he been given the time and perhaps the patience that perhaps other people wouldn't get because of what he did in the first season, getting them up and his stature and who he is?
Agreed, 100%. I think, I watched Burnley a lot. As I've talked in the Championship, it was amazing down there last season. They had a real confidence. The fans had a real belief. They stuck to their principles as a club, as they always do. But then on the field, they wanted to play attacking football, and they have got attacking football. But that happens when you play that football. You're up against better teams in the Premier League, and they've been punished. So in terms of time in the bank for Kompany, I think it's roll the sleeves up and then come again next season.
Do you not think though that, I mean, when you're making the same errors week after week after week after week after week, and you're getting punished for them, that you look at that and say, okay, let's at least, I know you've got your principles, I know how you want to play and everything else, but if that way clearly is not working, do you not look at something else?
I think you do, yeah. And you've been a manager, you've got the license, so you will know. But in terms of when you have a clear out of so many players and you only keep the players who want to play a certain way, then you go to your bench and the players again want to play what they've been coached all season, or the ones that have been there. So I understand what you mean in terms of, okay, can you go drop 10 yards deeper? Can you hit, the halfway line instead of trying to play out? So, yeah, I do agree with your point, Al. I understand it, but it's at times they've had no options because this is what's been drilled into them every day,
Alan wasn't long enough as Newcastle manager to make the same mistakes week in, week out.
Yeah.
They got rid of him long before that. Isak was 20 Premier League goals, Alan. It's a pretty good achievement.
He's a proper player, Gary. He's really
good.
Player. Proper player. He's got everything you need in the modern game. Technique is very good. His finishing ability is very good. I know he missed a penalty, but his running in behind is superb. His timing of the runs is superb. He's a proper player. He's in it.
I like him a lot. Gareth Southgate was there, wasn't he? I presume he'd be looking at Anthony Gordon, wouldn't he?
Yeah, and,
as much as anyone.
So he should be, and I think he would have loved what he saw. I would be amazed if he's not in his squad after the season that he's had, after the under-21 campaign that he had last year. When you put all those things together, the way he's performed this season for Newcastle, goals, assists, he's had a tremendous season, and without doubt, for me, he has to be in his squad.
Guys, is it confirmed now? I think I saw somewhere, obviously, it's going to be a 26-man squad. Is that being confirmed now?
Yes, confirmed. That is now confirmed.
That is definitely confirmed. So now we're cooking on gas. It's coming home. It's coming home.
No, we're banning that, Sam. We're banning that.
I don't care. If we've got 26
it's
players
bad luck. I've worked it out. That coming home nonsense is just bad luck. We got to get rid of that.
Okay, we're staying out. We're staying
away. Staying away.
Playing away. We're playing away.
Yeah. I suppose if if he switched it around a bit and played Foden in the 10 and perhaps Bellingham in a more midfield role, then you could envisage Gordon perhaps starting on the left, or but then you've got Saka and Palmer. And
exactly, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, we've got so much ability in forward positions, in wide positions, in the 10 role, in the midfield. We're definitely not short of talent in those areas.
A big win for Nottingham Forest. Expected win, obviously, but Sheffield United have chipped in 100 goals this season in 36 games. It must have been a tough watch for their fans this season. You have to feel for them a little bit. But I think Forest just be okay, won't they?
I think they've just got that little bit. They've just got that little bit more quality than those below them. Gibbs White, Hudson-Odoi. They've got that little bit more quality, haven't they? In forward positions.
Yeah, it's good to see Callum Hudson-Odoi kind of realising that potential that we all thought he had when he was very young at Chelsea, but he had that awful injury, didn't it? It was Achilles, wasn't it? It was it's a bad one, and it's taken him in time. And I heard him in an interview saying he's been better off being out of London, and he's just thinking football and living football, and he was brilliant yesterday.
Yeah, London could do that to you. Oof. I've had many
Is that why you're there every weekend?
You keep asking me to move to London, Gary. There's no chance. Oh, them bright lights are certainly more visible. Jesus. Anyway, back to Hudson-Odoi. Yeah, I think it is tough, isn't it? I think you go to a few teams and then people start doubting your ability, and then have you got that courage and that hunger to get back, and then will your injury heal the way you want it to? And I just think his game this season has been brilliant. It really has. Particularly
since Nuno Espirito Santo came. Real belief in his players, which makes a difference. Right, the last few minutes of this, let's turn our attention to the Championship. The Championship champions were Leicester. We know that they
marching on together.
The last time we talked a little bit when Leicester was stuttering, all you could shout at me was Leeds, Micah. They've missed out. I mean,
it's now lose, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah,
well,
I would never gloat on that because I know how fucking painful it is when missing out on these things. But a word on Ipswich. I mean,
brilliant.
Consecutive promotions. Yeah. What a job Kieran McKenna's done, hasn't he?
Yeah, he can rightly take in and enjoy all the plaudits because he deserves it, and so do his players for what they've done. The style that they've done it, he's played it his way in terms of the football they've played. Yeah, what a job! I mean, what an achievement back to back. So well done them, well done everyone, and enjoy it.
You know what was funny yesterday? A match of the day when Jermaine Jenas said, "Yeah, he was just a young lad." Kieran McKenna when he was at Spurs as a youth. So I looked at his age. He's 37, and I'm sure JJ's only 40 max or 41.
Well, so when he said would have been young as well.
Lad, I mean, he's a similar age.
Yeah, but at the time they were both young lads, weren't they?
Yeah, but I knew him when he was a young lad. I don't know.
Well, to me, Mikey, you're still a young lad.
Oh, okay. Am I?
Well, yeah, compared with me and Al, yeah.
Hey, don't bring me into your age, by the way.
But yeah, I was saying it was just interesting to hear that they was together, and then he had a bad injury, and then he goes into management, and then like to do that. You know, we talked about managers and how hard it is to get back to back. I think it was the last time. Was it Southampton? Was it in 2012? I think the last time that happened. It's just a remarkable achievement, especially when how hard management seems to be with all the people wanting to do it now.
The interesting thing is as well that 8 of the 11 players that I think secured promotion from League One 12 months ago played in the game that secured promotion at the weekend.
Amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's another huge step now, though, isn't it? To the well, we've seen how they've struggled, the promoted clubs this season, haven't we, in the Premier League? So whether the two sides plus whoever gets up through the playoffs can compete better than the 3 sides that have done this season remains to be seen. I worry a bit about Leicester. I worry about whether they're going to get a big sport points deduction before the start of the season. I think Leicester, in some ways, even if they have broken the rules in that sense, they've suffered a little bit for their own success. You know, winning the league and then finishing 5th 2 years running. I think all of a sudden, then you're trying to compete to stay in that area of the table rather than lower down. You've probably overspent a little bit. Their wage bill is astronomical compared with most clubs of their status. So. I think we're all a little bit worried that are they going to have to go up and then sell their best players, which gives them no chance. It seems really difficult. But let's enjoy the moment. And it's another trophy in this remarkable few years that Leicester have had. But it will be tough for all the teams that get promoted. Who's going to join Ipswich and Leicester?
Southampton.
I fancy Southampton. They've hit a bit of form again, haven't they, at the right time?
They're on a good run, and I would think Southampton. Not always that easy though, is it? It's like it's like there's always a story that comes out of the playoffs. But I really hope for Southampton. I spent a few years down there and loved it when I started my career, and they're a really good football club. So I hope Southampton.
I'm going to go Leeds.
I thought you might.
Yeah. No, I just think in the last couple of weeks have underperformed. They went on that amazing run, didn't they? And then sort of fizzled out a little bit. But the reason why I say Leeds is I think in forward areas, if they get it right, I believe they have the most quality.
But they're going into it in a bad spell, don't they? They've had a real bad run at the end of the season.
You've got to put that to bed now, isn't it? Yeah. Playoffs is a completely different thing now, isn't it?
It is.
Another chance.
Especially when it gets to Wembley. It's going to be really tight. Birmingham City relegated as well from the Championship to League One. They were, when they were going really well, weren't they? Sacked Eustace early in the season. Wayne Rooney came in, then they sacked him. That didn't work either. And now they're relegated.
Unbelievable! What a terrible story that is in terms of how it's happened. And when you thought the investment was coming in and Tom Brady and all of that and everything else, what a mess and what a terrible season for them.
Okay, we'll just finish once again with the team we've followed outside of English football more than anyone else this season. Bayer Leverkusen won comfortably again today. They won away at Roma in midweek. They're very, very close to pulling off the most.
Haven't they equalled the record most ever now? Isn't it? Is it they've equalled it with Benfica? Something I don't know. It's like 48 or 49 games or something like that, isn't it? I mean, another 5 goals today, another victory.
How do they keep doing that? How?
It's not like they're a bunch of stars and spent loads of money. There's some of them, there's some very good players, but kind of journeyman players in there as well. Bit of young talent and stuff, but good Lord. I mean, be the greatest season ever.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it would
if
be.
They won all 3 trophies and remained unbeaten. I mean, you can't do better than that.
Exactly. Incredible.
What a way to finish. I kind of really hope they do it. It would be an extraordinary achievement. That's it for this week's episode. So goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me. Have a good week.